Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to share with you my method, my strategy for finding profitable brands to sell on eBay. We're going to start off with men's sneakers. Now, I will probably make this into some sort of series or something that we can go kind of category by category. Today's video will be men's sneakers, and then the next video will be ladies sneakers. Then the next video will be probably men's jeans, then ladies jeans, men's t-shirts, ladies t-shirts. And we'll just break this down and I'll show you the way that I find what brands to be keeping an eye out for. So there's a couple ways you can go about finding items or researching items in order to learn what sells on eBay. One of those methods is going to the thrift store, finding what brands are there, and then checking comps and then kind of figuring it out that way. The other way is to find what is already selling on eBay, do your product research, find what is already selling in sort of that range of what you want to be selling your items for, and then work backwards and learn the brands while you're at home. It saves money on gas, it saves time, it's pretty good. Now, the reason I'm going about it this way is because of a certain phenomenon that I'm sure every single person on this video has come across, and that is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. This is a theory or a phenomenon where you go and buy something, whether that be a yellow car, or that be a specific kind of denim coat, or specific kind of shoes, or whatever. You buy something, and then all of a sudden, you see it everywhere. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon is just that: buying something or acquiring something, recognizing something, and then you see it everywhere. I'm a person, I don't own a Porsche yet. I love the Porsche brand. I love the styling, the cars, the performance, everything about a Porsche. I will own multiple in my lifetime. I can guarantee you that. Like, the struggle is real, but I am on my way. I am going to own a Porsche. But the thing is, I study these cars and their technology and their history and everything about them to a point where I can be on the road driving in my minivan and I can see a Porsche a mile and a half away and know exactly what it is by the headlights, by sort of the body shape, the body style. It's just something that because I've spent time researching that item, I can recognize it a long way off. Now, I've had people ask me how I've been able to find such great products in the thrift store. It's almost as if they jump out at me, and that's because of what we're doing today, product research. I started off with shoes. I was not very good at it. I built it up, got better with shoes, moved over to denim, to jeans and denim jackets and that sort of thing, men's and women's. Got pretty good at that, and then now branching out into the vintage wear, t-shirts, sweaters, anything that I can find, backpacks, anything vintage. I'm getting really good at that too. And I research. I watch a lot of reseller videos about vintage stuff, especially Paul Cantu. He finds a lot of vintage stuff. And so I watch his videos. With all of that being said, I just wanted to kind of give an example of the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon and how it can be beneficial to you as you go through this series of videos that I'm doing, where we do product research and figure out what to be looking for. I mean, it's safe to say that you probably pass by some of these items every single time you go to the thrift, and they're worth picking up, but you just don't know it yet because you haven't seen the brand. So let's go and look at 5 brands. We'll try to do 5. We'll just see what the top 5 things are in this particular search for selling. I'm going to look at sort of parameters where I feel like everyone can get into. Shoes can be expensive at the thrift store depending on where you're at. I know some people, I know in California where my mom lives, when she goes to the thrift, she can't find shoes for less than 30, 35, 40 bucks used, which is crazy. Here where I'm at, they're anywhere from $5.50 to 13, 14 bucks, sometimes more than that. But for the most part, I can get them right around between 5 and 8 bucks averaged out. But in the coming days, as I continue on with this mini series, I'm going to show you denim jeans, which are incredible for resale. Generally, you can get them pretty cheap, between $5 and $8, and then sell them for $35 and so on and so forth. So feel free, obviously, to go branch out and do a bunch of research on your own. I'm just going to show you the way that works for me. We're going to pick the 5 most frequent selling brands in the search results. And really quick, before we jump in, please know that these are not the only brands to sell in this price range, or not. These are not the best brands, even though I may say like top 5 brands to sell in this price range. It just doesn't mean it's like the top, like whatever you can sell in this price range is a top brand to sell in this price range. I'm just picking out 5 that I feel like are consistent winners that are going to bring you a return on investment over and over and over and over and hold their value well. So please just know that, like, I'm not trying to start a fight with anybody, or you might have a brand that you like that I don't mention here. That's not what this is about. This is about finding 5 consistent brands or models that sell well in this price range. Let's jump over here to my screen. I'm going to open an incognito window because I don't want my eBay search history to influence the searches at all. I want to go completely incognito, not logged in. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to say men's. We're going to do 5 brands in the men's athletic shoes. And that's all I'm going to type in, but I'm going to show you the parameters that I look at whenever I am digging into this. So right here, obviously I'm going to go down. I'm going to say that I want used shoes, because in this scenario, we're thinking about thrift stores. We want to look at pre-owned shoes. And then we want to go down and I want to look at prices. So, you know, you could sell shoes for 20 bucks, $25, and that's good. That will bring a return. But let's say we want to focus on the brands that'll bring a little bit more, maybe a $45 to $65 range. So in this price section here, I'm going to put 45 to 65 and I'm going to say go. And this is going to bring up items in that. Now, obviously you guys already know this. We're going to click on the sold filter and completed sales because we want to see what has actually sold. And then there's a couple other things that I want to click on. I want to do within 1,000 miles of my zip code. And the reason why is because the default search results for eBay is 25 to 50 miles from your location. And so you don't get an accurate kind of nationwide look unless you do the mileage. You have to do the mileage. Otherwise, it's sort of a skewed view of what is selling. The last thing we're going to do before we start looking at these is we want to look at what ended recently. Mine's already set to that, but we want to ensure that we're looking at what sold recently because we want what is happening now. We don't want things that are 3 months ago or 2 months ago because trends change. All right, so we're looking here. We've got a pair of Nike Kyrie 6s. Those were size 15, so that is sort of out of our parameter because size 15, when you get into that large size, you can kind of adjust the price to whatever you want it to be. Let's go down into the size and we are going to select the most common sizes, because when you get up into like size 14, 15, 16s, or really small sizes, you can sort of dictate more or less what the price will be because there's a supply and demand function that has to work out there where the supply is low on a pair of, you know, Nike size 16s. You can charge more for that. And the person that needs the 16, because the supply is so low, they're more than likely going to pay it. So we're going to say, let's do size 10, 11, 11 and a half, 12, 12 and a half, 13. Let's just stick with that for now and say apply. All right, so now we're looking at the shoes that fit our parameter very specifically. We're looking at specific things. These are the size range that you're generally going to find in the thrift store. And now we're looking at the brands and the models because the brand and model are key. All right, so Jeremy Scott Adidas. I've never seen any of these. I've never seen, I don't know what a Jeremy Scott is. But that's something that will trigger in my head. If I am ever out and I see Jeremy Scott, that name is a unique name, and I'll remember that. Right here, Mizuno Wave Prophecy 5. Now, I know of Mizuno's, Mizuno Waves. There's a bunch of Mizunos out there. However, this is something good, like Mizuno Wave Prophecy. And they sold for 50 bucks plus shipping. Size 10, Nike Air Max 270s. I've seen these out before. I believe I've sold a pair of these in the past. I did not get $64 for them. Now I know that there is that demand there. And you can see right down here, another pair of Nike. These are they mark these as Air Force 270s. So these are Nike Air Max 270s. And then right below to the right, you see Nike Air Force 270s. Not sure what the Air Force 270 is all about, but the number 270 is going to stick in my mind now as I source shoes. We've got a pair of Nike SB 6.0s. I've sold a pair of those in the past. Not bad. Let's dig a little deeper. We've got Brooks men's Levitate 3s. So a Levitate 3, Brooks Levitate 3. And at the end of this, I'm going to list out what I would call the 5 brands, and then maybe like the 5 models to keep an eye out for, depending on what sort of sticks out. Nike Air Pegasus 83. I've sold one pair of these. I bought them at the bins. They looked pretty dirty. They were suede, and they're like a retro style. I sold those within, I think, like 3 hours of listing them. They sold for 80 bucks, 80, 70, 80 bucks, like right away. So Air Pegasus 83s are incredible to sell. I would definitely add the Air Pegasus 83 to my list. Of course, you have like the Air Jordan 3s. I'm trying to see things here that, like, some of these are obvious, like Penny Hardaway's you're going to definitely pick up. I'm trying to look for things that sort of stand out, stand alone. They're outliers to what you would do. So like the men's Levitate 3s are outliers to me. That's something that we're not seeing a ton of on here, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. LeBron James Nike Double Helix. I've never, for me, I don't know. LeBron basketball shoes don't necessarily do like super high numbers. I sell a lot of them, but they don't do super high numbers. So this is very interesting that this went for $59 plus $12 shipping. We've got some Puma RSX Toys sneakers. That's interesting. That's something to keep an eye out for. A pair of Noble. Okay, right here. Pair of Noble Ripstop Runner shoes. This is a brand that I guess somewhat of a newer brand. However, it's been out for a couple of years. It's not as established as Nike, obviously, but you can see right there, $59 or a $90 buy it now, but it sold for $59 plus shipping. That's not bad. And if you can score those for $10 or even $15 at the thrift, you'll still make a decent return. Obviously, we've got a pair of Nike Shox right here. Nike Shox almost always go really well. A little side tip on the Nike Shox: if it's got 4 shock pegs, then that's good. That's really good. Make sure that they're not worn or showing metal on the bottom. But if it's got 5 pegs, that's better. And then if you have any like crazy colorways or designs, that goes even further. You can see this one is white with, it looks like dark blue or maybe black stripes. Very eye-catching, and so that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. I would add Nike Shox to the list because it's something that you can find a decent amount of that sell for great price. I actually went to the Nike outlet, I guess it was like 6 or 7 months ago, and they had Nike Shox, the black with the, I don't even know the correct color, but it's like a neon green accents. And I bought them all for 16 bucks a piece. I bought all of them that they had. They were all size 8, 8.5, and 9 for men's. I bought all of them in the store for 16 bucks a piece, and I sold them all $60, $70, and $80, depending on the sizes. Size 9 pairs sold really fast for top dollar, and so that's something to keep an eye out for. You can see right there, 50 bucks free shipping for a pair of Nike Shox. Definitely something to look out for. We've got a pair of men's Hoka 1-1 Athletic Gaviota 3. These are kind of a boring colorway, and they still got 50 bucks. They took a best offer plus $10 shipping. Then you've got this pair of Hoka right next to it. These are Clifton 3s. This is a really old model. The Clifton 3 is really old. Today, I'm wearing the Clifton 6. This is the second to newest model of Hoka Cliftons. I think there's a Clifton 7 if I'm not mistaken. This is the Clifton 6 right here. So you can see that the Clifton 3, which is 3 or 4 generations ago for the Clifton line, is still selling for $50 plus shipping used. Incredible. Keep an eye out for this. We got another pair of Nike Shox right here. We've got a pair of North Face Ultra Fast Pack. I've never seen those before, but that's something to keep an eye out for. Obviously, the North Face, like, it's a higher end brand, so that kind of goes without saying, the North Face, but just good to see it on this top list right here. Moving down just a little bit more, and we're only going to go through this first page because it's 48 items here to look at. We've got a pair of Merrell Men's Intercept. Really great. pair right here. I think I have a pair of these for sale. I'm definitely going to have to move my price around because I think I have mine listed for like 39 bucks. Definitely going to look into those. And then we got a pair of New Balance men's Fresh Foam 860s. Those look really clean. This is basically how I do it, guys. This is my strategy on how I look into items. Now, if you're a shoe reseller, you already know all these shoes. But let's say you're new and you're trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. This is it right here. I went to the thrift store one time. I saw some other resellers. They told me they were new at reselling, and I found a pair of Hokas. They were $5.50, and I picked them up and I wanted to sell them. And I was like, hey, just kind of to help these other resellers out, I took the shoes to them and I was like, hey, here's a pair of, I think they were Clifton 5s. I was like, this pair of Hoka Clifton 5s, they only cost $5.50. I guarantee you'll get $50 to $70 for these shoes. They're immaculate. Take them, resell them, and I just want to like help out your business. And they seemed pretty suspicious of me. And so as I was checking out a little bit later, the cashier saw all my shoes in the basket and she's like, hey, do you want these pair of Hokas? And it was the pair that I given that couple. And I was like, yeah, I'll take them. Why didn't they take it? And she's like, I don't know. They just didn't want them. So I say all that to say, sometimes as a new seller, you don't know what to pick up. That's why I'm making this video. If you got value out of this video, be sure to leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. And then as always, I'll see you on the next video, which will probably be another video like this.